So I'm excited. First and foremost, happy Veterans Day. I want to wish all of the veterans out there a wonderful day. I'm so grateful for those who have fought for our freedoms. So thank you so much. In today's lesson, we're going to be focusing on theory therapy. Remember, we have 4 lessons that we do a month. So the first week, we focus on the cool song and the essential piano exercise. The second week, we focus on theory therapy. Third week is innovative improvisation. And the fourth week is creative composition. So today, we're going to be focusing on theory therapy. And I refer to it as the practical application of music theory. It's teaching music theory in a fun way, but teaching you what to do with music theory once you've learned the music theory. So I'm going to go to the overhead view just for a second. Let me quickly actually just check on my other social media page. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to the overhead view. Now, for those of you who are watching live, let me know if the audio sounds okay, if you can hear everything. All right. Okay. I think it's sounding good. I think everything is looking good. Let's jump into our lesson. Today, I'm actually going to be working out of my book, Essential Piano Exercises. So this is from my Essential Piano Exercise series. I am also going to be working out of my book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises, right there. And, whoops, sorry, the book wanting to play. And I'm going to be working out of my book, Essential Pop Piano Exercises. Now, these are all from my Essential Piano Exercise series. Currently, we have 5 books in this series. We have 100 left-hand patterns every piano player should know, Essential Piano Exercises, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises, Essential New Age Piano Exercises, and Essential Pop Piano Exercises. So we're going to be working out of all of those books, theory, the fun way. We're going to start with my book, Essential Piano Exercises, every piano player should know. Now, you can buy the PDF of all of these books from my website, musicmotivation.com. You can also go to essentialpianoexercises.com. The paperback book is available from Amazon.com if you want to buy the paperback book. You can buy all of these books in a spiral-bound set that we actually ship out for free to everyone who lives in the United States. So you can get that if you go to essentialpianoexercises.com. But in this book, what I want to do is show you some exercises. Near the end of the book, we have some exercises. Before I have some cool songs that I've composed. Let me come down here, actually. And I'll show you just a simple chord progression. This is found, again, in the book Essential Piano Exercises. It's found on page 206. We're going to look at pages 206, 207, and then 208, 209. But then we will also look at page 210, right there. Now, what it is, it's a simple 1-4-5-5-7-1 chord progression. This is the primary chord progression. C major, F major, G major, and then we have a G7th, and then C major. And then we do that in every key signature. For now, I'm just going to be showing you in the key of C major what we can do with that. This is what we have. It starts with a C major chord in root position. Then it plays an F major chord. This is in second inversion. In root position, we have FAC. In first inversion, we have ACF, FA. See that? So we have root position, then F major chord, second inversion. Then we have the G major chord in first inversion. In G major, we have GBD in root position, BDG, first inversion, and then DGB, second inversion. So we're going to be playing in first inversion, and then we'll play the G7th chord, first inversion. The G7th chord has 4 notes, G, B, D, and F. That's root position. If I put the G on top, this is first inversion, where we have B, D, F, G. That's a G7th chord, first inversion. Second inversion is where we have D, F, G, B. Third inversion is where we have F, G, B, D, and then you're back to root position, G, B, D, F. So this is the chord progression. C major, root position, F major, second inversion, G major, first inversion, G seventh, first inversion. Now I'm letting go of the D. Ordinarily you would have this. I'm letting go of the D, so we can have these two notes, B and F, that will resolve back to the C and E. So watch this. And then we do that in every key. And you can go through every key signature. That is, sorry, the book wanted to play a little selection for you. That is what we have right here. Okay, and again, it's from my book, Essential Piano Exercises. It's a good exercise. It's great, fun to do. If you turn the page, now we have 1, 4, 5, 5, 7, 1. It's the same chord progression, but now we are going to do every inversion where we start with root position, second inversion, first, root, and then we invert those. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to take all of these simple 1, 4, 5, 5, 7 chord progressions, and we're going to invert them. So watch. We'll start here. Then I'm going to invert it. Then we're going to invert it again. And again, you can do that in every key signature. And we go through every key signature playing all of these. Okay, so you can go through every key signature. Well, I tell students all the time, that's great. Let me come back to the front view here for a second. I tell students, I want them to be able to play anything in any key signature, any inversion. I want them to know all the theory. But if you know the theory, but you don't know what to do with it, who cares? It doesn't help you. That's why I like to show you the practical application of music theory. These chord progressions right here, those chord progressions, it's a simple 1, 4, 5, 5, 7, 1 chord progression, but we do every inversion. It's great. It's important. You need to know how to play those, which is why I wrote them in every key. But I want you to show you what you can do with it and how you can take that theory from the book and actually apply it. Now, I actually show some practical application. If we go back to the first half of the book, I have every key signature, and I have 4 pages for every key signature where we do exercises within every key signature. Let me show you key of C. So we have these exercises in the key of C. And then on the next page, we have 2 more pages of key of C exercises. Some are octave exercises, some are basic triads, some are blocked, some are broken. Over here, we're going to look at page 75. For those of you who have my book, we're going to be looking at page 75. This has a simple, practical application of how to take chords, primarily the 1, 4, 5, 5, 7 chord progression, and how to play around with it. Let me play this for you and show you what I mean. I'm going to go back to the overhead view. Now here we have, this is what we have. We have the basic chord progression. Pretty simple. This is top of page 75. Okay, those of you who are following along, right here, it's top of page 75. This is what I'm playing. Again, this is from my book, Essential Piano Exercises Every Piano Player Should Know. So that's top of page 75. Down here, this is how you apply it. This is the practical application. Let me play this for you so you can hear it. It does this. That's fun. That's simple, and it's showing you kind of a progression. With the right hand, we were playing the basic triads. With the left hand, we were doing kind of a walking bass using the root note of the chord. That's fine. But again, how can you embellish it? We're going to start right here where it says the practical real-world application. And I wrote this out for every key signature, but watch what happens now. Again, we're taking that simple chord progression. This is why we learn these chords and these progressions in every key. Watch what I'm going to play now. Guess what I did? 1, 4, 5. And then I started throwing in 1, 4, 5, 6. 1 is C major. 4 is F major. 5, G major. But now I inverted it. That's a G major chord second inversion. And then A minor is the sixth chord. Remember how we 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I'm playing 1, C major, 4, F major, 5, G major, and 6, A minor. I'm playing 4 chords. That's it. Those 4 chords. 1, 4, 5, 6. But we changed the position of the chords. Now, my left hand is primarily doing an octave interval, and for most of the time, we're just doing a simple pattern. All we're playing is C, F, G, A. And we're playing the octave interval, and I hold it down, and then I play the thumb. That's all we're playing. Now, starting in measure 76, down here at the bottom of page 75, I start doing the thumb playing straight eighth notes, while the pinky is holding down. We have a dotted quarter note followed by an eighth note tied over to a half note. The pinky is doing that, and then the thumb is doing this, while the right hand can start to play around. So watch. Let me play that bottom line starting on measure 76, bottom of page 75 from my book, Essential Piano Exercises. We have this. Now, again, the practical application of music theory is why are we learning these chords and what can we do with the chords? If I can play the basic simple triads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, C major, and then I can practice playing them in root position, first inversion, second inversion. Remember, if you have 3 notes in a chord, you have 3 positions. You have root position where the root name of the chord, C major in this case, is on the bottom. When that is on top, you have first inversion. When the E is taken up on top and the root is in the middle of the chord, that is second inversion. root, first inversion, second inversion, back up to root position again. And you can practice doing that with C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C major. And we practice doing root position, first inversion, second inversion. And then we slide to the right. 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 The best fingering in root position is 1, 3, 5. The best fingering in first inversion is 1, 2, 5. Because you have 2 keys up here, it's top heavy. And then second inversion, the best fingering is back to 1, 3, 5. So 1, 3, 5, root position. First inversion, 1, 2, 5. Second inversion, 1, 3, 5. And then you're back to root position. Well, you should be able to start to take those chords and play them any pattern, any position, any order that you want because you understand how the chords work. Now, we talked about doing a simple 1, 4, 5, and then we did a simple 1, 4, 5, 6. And that's what we were doing at the bottom of page 75 there. Okay, right there we were just doing 1, 4, 5. Now, some of these chords, and sometimes people will ask me, they will see something like this. See how it has a C major? Here it says F/C. These are known as slash chords. If you look at it, this is the F major chord, but when you have a slash chord, you have a different root down here at the base. What you can practice doing, and this is a good way to practice, as an example, I'll do a C octave interval with my left hand. And then with the right hand, I'm going to move up according to the C major scale, playing the basic triads. My left hand is only going to stay on the C octave interval. Technically, this would be C/C. If I go to the right now, it's D minor/C. Technically, you could think of it like a D minor 7th chord, but it's D/C. I could do E minor/C. I could do F major/C. I could play G major/C with my left hand. I could play A minor with the right hand /C with the left hand. I could play B diminished. Remember, B major is B, D sharp, F sharp. B minor is B, D, F sharp. B diminished is B, D, F, just the white keys. B diminished/C. And then we resolve to C major/C. So watch. You can start to get some wonderful sounds by doing these slash chords. And you can even do slash chords that resolve to each other. As an example, let's say I take a C major chord. This is root position. First inversion is EGC. Second inversion is GCE. What if I took a C major triad, second inversion with the right hand? With the left hand, I played a C major, well, just a C octave interval. With my right hand, I'm playing a C major chord, second inversion. And then I go to a G major chord, root position. And then I went to an F major chord in root position. That's all I did with my right hand. My left hand, I just stayed on the C octave interval. That's it. Now with my right hand, I start to embellish it a bit. I went up to the F. So my pinky is doing some moving here. But my left hand is just staying on the C for now. Only in, and I'm trying to stay in this, I haven't changed chords or changed keys. You can get really wild, but it's fun because what we're doing is we're taking the basic triad and we're just doing slash chords. And you can do a slash chord with every single key. I can do this here. And you get a different sound with every single one. You can really create some, and we're only in the key of C. You can do this in every key signature. You can do it in any key signature. For now, I'm just showing you key of C to help you get the point and understand what we're doing and what we're trying to create. See, this is about understanding the theory, but it's the practical application of the music theory. I want you to be able to play these chords, but I want you to be able to play around with them. This is how you can start composing. And again, my left hand was just doing an octave interval on C. What if I did different inversions? I started here. What if I did first inversion with the C major triad with the right hand? What if I start with a C major triad first inversion with the right hand, and then I drop down to a G major second inversion, root first, second inversion. There's F major, again, root first, second inversion. My left hand, I'll just do a C octave interval. It actually sounds like patriotic music, like we're singing from the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee. Okay, they're using a lot of these chords. Most music, this is what happens. And I can do that pattern. What if I change and shift from the C with my left hand to an A? What if I play an F octave interval with my left hand and the right hand still plays that C major triad first inversion, G major triad second inversion, F major, and again, I'm just kind of playing basic chords. What if I go to F? What if I go to G with my left hand? What if I go down to the E? And you can start to change the left hand. You can keep it where it is, or you can change according to the chord. I can start here. or I can move down and you get some really fascinating sounds as you're playing. Sometimes you want to have chords that will create tension or suspension, and sometimes you need chords that will create resolution. Listen to the G major triad here, second inversion. So here's root, first inversion, second inversion. My left hand is going to be on the C. Now I'm creating this G right here, and we haven't really talked a lot about the different, if you go, I'll go back in the book Essential Piano Exercises right here. Let me go to a page that explains a little bit about, we've talked a little bit in the past about some chords, chord progressions. Let's see where, right there. On pages 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. So those chords, right here, I give a basic diagram to help students visually see what I'm talking about. Okay, let's just look at the key of C as an example. Now, your degree name, this refers to tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading tone, tonic. And these are all lined up. If you see how we have the vertical and we have the horizontal columns. The scale degree, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we're talking about the intervals, it's a prime or unison first, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, and perfect eighth or octave. Here we have the scale names or the degrees. So we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's just the C major scale. Here I put the right hand fingering and then the left hand fingering, and then the scale triad. It's major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. If you notice vertically, the 1, 4, 5, and 8, these are all gray. The columns are gray because those are the primary chords, whereas these ones are the secondary chords. The chord progression for all of the major key signatures is the same: major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. The Roman numerals are uppercase for the major chords and lowercase for the minor triads in this case. You can have seventh. Now, I explain and go into detail, having everything written out, explaining what everything means. But here, I want you to think about this: tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading tone, tonic. Okay, just a very basic, simple explanation. Tonic is referring to the key signature. If I'm in the key of C, C is my tonic. If I go from C to C, that is my tonic. Now, the tonic, you think of it as a center point. Okay, if I had C as the center and I included all of the notes around it, guess what? If I go up a fourth, I have F. If I go down a fourth, I have G. These are all of the notes found in the C major scale. Guess what? It happens to be the 1, 4, and 5. This is my tonic. The word supertonic, super just means above the tonic. Okay, then you have the mediant. Mediant refers to in between the tonic and your dominant. This is the mediant. Subdominant is right below the dominant. Submediant is in between the subdominant and the tonic. That's the submediant. Then the leading tone leads you back to the tonic. Well, each of these triads, they have a different role that they play when you are composing, arranging, improvising. When you're playing music, what you may or may not think about is that the composer, they may have thought about it, they may have just thought it sounded pretty, but each different chord has a different function. C major, 1, it's your tonic, okay? Well, the leading tone takes you back to the tonic. The subdominant and the dominant, you can actually use those as transitional chords. You can actually change keys. because the C major chord, this C major chord, it's only found in 3 key signatures. Happens to be C, F, and G. Your tonic chord, and this is what's fascinating, it's only found in 3 key signatures, C major, F major, and G major, the 1, 4, 5. So you can use the key of the C major chord to change keys. You can go from one key to another key because that C major chord, you can easily transition or modulate from one key signature to another, especially if you're going from the key of C to the key of F or to the key of G, because that chord is in those key signatures. Now, if I'm playing an F major triad, I can use an F major triad to resolve. I can resolve back to C major because I have the C right here stays where it is, and then the top 2 resolve down. You can use chords as transitional chords. You can use chords as chords that resolve or chords that create tension, suspension. We've talked about a C sus2 or a C sus4. They create tension and they need resolution. C sus2, because of these two clashing together, our ears need to hear resolution. We can either resolve it by having the thumb step down. Now this is a G major chord first inversion, or we can resolve it by having the index pointer finger resolve to the E. And so we create tension that needs resolution. See, what we're doing is we are taking a simple piece and we're saying, okay, how can I move one finger at a time? This is a good exercise for you to practice. Take one chord, let's say a C major chord, and just move one finger. Doesn't matter what finger, just move one finger and see what chord you create. First off, see if you can figure out what chord it is. What if I moved my thumb down one note? What chord is that? Well, simple way to figure it out, if you know your inversions, you would know that's an E minor chord. Another easy way, I have C, E, G. See how I have these two keys that are not held down? If it's evenly spaced, whatever note is on the bottom is the name of the chord. This is C major. If it's bottom heavy, and I have 2 down here, then whatever note is in the middle is the name of the chord. That's E minor. E major would have a G sharp. This is E minor. If instead I were to take my pinky up half a step, well, now it's top heavy. I have 2 keys that are not played up here. If it's top heavy, then whatever note is on the top is the name of the chord. In this case, A minor. So a good way to practice is just move one finger. Move one finger with the right hand, and then match what the root is of that chord with the left hand. I'm only moving one finger at a time. Now you can start to move 2 fingers at a time. But you're practicing moving within the key of C major. We're only playing the white keys, but this is very helpful when you start playing around. Now, sometimes if you noticed, when I moved one finger with my right hand, I didn't move two, I only moved one, but if I'm just moving one to the right, I was letting go of one. Well, those chords, again, and we're not talking about 6th and 7th chords, but when you start getting these types of chords, they're usually missing a 4th note because depending on what chord you're playing, you would have a 5th note. 4th note, sorry. And it's very helpful just to take your 7th chords, and again, this is built from the C major scale. We have the basic triads, and then we have the 7th chords. But you can do different inversions of those. Pretty simple, not too difficult. If we come back to this big, thick beast of a book, Essential Piano Exercises, we have all of the different 7th chords, and I have it according to every key signature. This is key of C major. Down here at the bottom, you can see the basic triads. Over here, you can see the 7th chords. So we have the 7th chords that are just moving up according to the C major scale. Well, that is wonderful. And it's great to play that. I'm going to show you what we can do with 7th chords from my book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises. As an example, let me show you. This is a simple progression trying to help students understand how the chords relate to each other. All right, let me just see what page we're on. Okay, so this is from the book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises. I'm going to start just showing you simple 7th chords moving up according to the C major scale. Now, these are jazzy, so we're kind of moving into the jazz realm. We're going to be swinging 8th notes. But here on page 86 and 87 from the book, hold on, I've got too many books on my stand over here. I need to move those around. So now we're moving up according to the C major scale, playing 7th chords. And you can break them apart, you know. And then you can start to jazz them up. Now, I'm taking some variations, and I was just playing the bottom of page 86 from the book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises. Right here, I was just jazzing up. The left hand is playing the blocked 7th chord, and the right hand is playing the broken 7th chord. That's all I was doing. You can play blocked and broken, and then top of page 87th, I was showing you how you can break them apart. Now, that's fun. Then we start doing, you remember how we talked about the simple chord progression in my book, Essential Piano Exercises, where we do the 1, 4, 5. And we do that in every key. Well, in jazz music, jazz musicians, they'll follow these 7th chords, but they will follow a 2-5-1 chord progression. Now, the 2, if I count up from C, the C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So if you play the 7th chords, we start with a C major 7th chord. Then we play the D minor 7th chord, E minor 7th chord, F major 7th chord, the G 7th chord, A minor 7th chord. Then we have the B minor 7 flat 5 chord, and then we go to the C major 7th chord. Again, I'm in my book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises, on page 86, just at the top, and I'm just playing the 7th chords right here. Well, over on page 87, I start showing you the simple 2-5-1. We do the D minor 7th, followed by the G 7th, and then the C major 7. It's a 2-5-1 chord progression. Let me play this, bottom of page 87. You play the D minor 7th chord in root position. And then I'm just going to move the top 2 fingers down and play the G 7th chord. This is second inversion, root, first, second inversion. And then we resolve to the C major 7th chord in root position. It's a 2-5-1. That's all it is. And then I start playing with the rhythms. And you can start to play around with that. Again, this is bottom of page 87, just showing some different jazz rhythms that you can play around with. Well, when you turn the page, I then have a simple 2-5-1 chord progression. If you see that right there, it's a simple 2-5-1 chord progression. This is found page 88 from the book, my book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises Every Piano Player Should Know. Let me play this, and it shows it in every key signature, and it's just the 2-5-1. And again, we're just going following the cycle of fourth. Well, you can think of it like the circle of fifths or the cycle of fourths. Circle of fifths goes to the right from the key of C to the key of G, key of D, key of A, key of A. Cycle of fourths goes, if you think of it, we're going backwards, but essentially we're just going a fourth. So we're going from the key of C major to the key of F major, then the key of B flat major, E flat major, A flat major, D flat major, G flat major. We're following that around. In all of these books, I have this page right here. This is found on page 6. This is the circle of fifths. You can see how to the right, we go from C to G to D to A to E, doing all the sharps. From the left, we do all the flats from the key of C to the key of F to the key of B flat, key of E flat, key of A flat, and we're just following that around. That's what we're doing with this simple 2-5-1 chord progression. We're playing the basic 2-5-1 chords. Now, what is nice, once you know your 2-5-1 chord progression, in jazz music, that's how you can start improvising and playing around. Now, what I was just playing, I was actually on the next page, page 90 from the book. Look at this. Left hand is playing a blocked minor 7th chord. The right hand is playing a broken minor 7th chord, following the 2-5-1 chord progression, and we repeat the 1 2 times. 2-5-1-1. That's it. And then we can do that in every key. I then show you key of F and key of B flat major, where we go up. That's all we're doing. Now we're playing around and we're taking those chords and playing and having a good time, but we're just taking the 2-5-1. Remember, 2, this is a D minor 7th chord root position. And then we play the G 7th chord, second inversion. Root, first, second inversion. And then we end with a C major 7th chord root position. 2-5-1. That's it. Well, on page 91 from the book, we do the 2-5-1 chord progressions in all keys and all inversions. Just like we did with the 1-4-5, we're doing every position, every inversion. So watch, we can do that with the 2-5-1 chords. And again, this is found on page 91 from my book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises. Watch right here. This is a D minor 7th, the 2, followed by the G 7th, the 5, and then the C major 7-1. Then we do 2-5-1 again, but now we've inverted them, and I include what the inversions are. Let me play this for you. It does this. Then we invert it. Then we invert it again. Then we invert again. Now, how you start to play around with that, what if I did a simple left-hand pattern? And in the book, I show you and explain, and I've talked about this before, a simple 2-5-1. A simple 2-5-1 walking bass pattern is known as a whole half-half left-hand walking bass pattern. If I start on 2, I'm going to play a whole step followed by 2 half steps. So from D to E is the whole step, and then I'll play 2 half steps. That's a whole half-half left-hand walking bass pattern. I start on 2. Then I'll go to 5 and do the same pattern. Whole step, half step, half step. 5, whole step, half step, half step. Then I'll go to 1 and play C, whole step, half step, half step. So watch, 2, 5, 1. Now the best fingering is to start with your pinky on the 2, then do the 4th finger on the E. There's your whole step, and then the 3rd finger, half step, and then put your pointer finger here for the half step. Then put your thumb on the G, which is the 5. Remember, 2, 5, 1. Then we're going to cross over, put the 3rd finger on the A for the whole step. 2nd finger, the pointer finger, up on the B flat for the half step. And then thumb on B. And then your pinky is down on the C. Then whole step. You're going to put your middle finger there. That's it. It's a simple left-hand pattern. These are quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. The right hand will play the 2, then go to the 5, and then the 1. Watch this. Okay, we can start to play around. Again, we're just doing a simple 2-5-1 chord progression from the book, and I have different variations, different kind of exercises you can. If you go to page 94, you can actually just break the chord apart, practicing a simple explanation. What I'm teaching you now is actually found on page 105 from the book. And again, I'm just in Essential Jazz Piano Exercises. Okay, go to page 105 and look at this right here. Whole step, half step, half step. And I showed the example starting on C. C, whole step to the D, half step to the E flat, half step to E natural. And then I show you just a simple pattern. Now, I have the 7th chords written above. You can start with that, and then we can go 2-5-1. So right here, watch. This is all we're doing. I'm going to play the C, and then I'll go to F, and then I'll go to D, and then I'll go to G. Now, if I do the 2-5-1, we're starting here at the bottom of page 105. Okay. Again, this is from my book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises Every Piano Player Should Know. This is found bottom of page 105. Look what we're doing. My right hand is playing the minor 7th chord for D minor 7th, then G dominant 7th, and then C major 7th. The left hand is playing the whole half-half walking bass pattern, starting on D, going to G, and ending on C. And then I say, now try this in every key, which you can try in every key signature. But now if you turn the page over, pages 106 and page 107, I've created some exercises that you can play around with and try. Let me show you what these exercises do. Again, this is found on pages 106 and 107 from my book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises. Now, I'm starting to change some rhythms, so just watch what I do. If you have my book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises, you can follow along on pages 106 and 107. I'll start back at the beginning again, and you can follow along. Again, this is out of my book, Essential Jazz Piano Exercises, and I'm just on pages 106 and 107. I'm just going to play both these pages just so you can hear what I'm doing, and then I'll show you how you can start to play around with this. Watch this. Now, again, let me just kind of clarify, and I'll finish off. I wanted to stop because we start getting into triplets. Starting in measure 29, we start doing some triplets. But all I'm doing with the right hand is playing the chords primarily and breaking them apart. My left hand is still keeping with this whole half-half left hand walking bass pattern, but the right hand is just playing the notes from the chord. I'm inverted sometimes. Sometimes I played here and then there, but I'm only playing the blocked chord with the right hand, or I'm breaking it apart and still playing the notes from the chord. That's all I'm doing. So let me start on page 107, since I interrupted myself. Sorry. The books keep wanting to play. So we're going to start right here. I'm going to start page, page 107, measure 25. I'm going to start right there. But you can see we start throwing in triplets. So I wanted to explain before we started getting all these triplets. So watch what happens with this right here, measure 25. Okay, pretty simple. If you turn the page, and if you were to keep going, you'll see that I actually include the left hand walking bass, but the right hand, I include the chords, but it's blank because I want you to start to improvise. Now, how you can start to improvise, if you take that simple walking bass left hand pattern, you can take the chords, I'm just breaking apart the chords or playing them blocked. The trick with this, and I know people have said, oh, you make this look so easy. It's not that easy. It is a little bit of a challenge, and I'll tell you what the challenge is. It's the left hand. It's keeping the left hand steady, doing the steady walking bass left hand pattern where we have the whole step, half step, half step, whole step, half step, half step. And people will always ask me, why is the left hand the tricky part? Because the left hand is actually the structure. It's the foundation. And they're quarter notes. You're playing quarter notes. Well, the problem is your left hand needs to go on autopilot. So the right hand can just be free to play whatever it wants. You can't think about what the left hand is doing. The left hand just needs to be on its own. The left hand, you go on autopilot. You're not even focused on the left hand because you're really focusing on the right hand and what you're going to play around with. Now, I've tried not to really embellish the right hand yet. Well, I'll get there in just a minute. But what I'm doing with the right hand is I'm taking the chords, breaking them apart, but then I can start to throw in additional notes or additional scales. We've talked about the chromatic scale. Now, the chromatic scale, okay, with the right hand, I'm just using these 3 fingers, okay? Think of it like this. Well, here I have my 3rd finger only hitting the black keys. My 3rd finger hits all the black keys. See that? Okay. Now my second finger only plays C and F. 3rd finger hits all the black keys. Then the thumb hits all of the white keys except for C and F. So we have 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, back to 2, 3, 1, 3, 1. And we follow that progression going up and going down. Okay, I'm following that progression. Now, there are times when, and I'll have students try to do that fingering, which is great. There are times when I'll have students do this fingering, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Watch this. This is a little crazy, but if we're only sticking in a specific pattern or an area, when we start doing some really fast licks, sometimes I'll incorporate this when we're going up and down, and that's a little later on. We'll talk about that. But you can start to do this simple 2-5-1 left-hand pattern while the right hand is playing the 2-5-1. And then you can incorporate the chromatic scale. So we are starting to incorporate some of these interesting scales. And you can start to play around with it, but what I'm doing is I'm staying true to that 2-5-1 with the left hand doing the whole half-half. Now, what if I start doing some crush notes or grace notes? Chord itself, if I took my D minor 7th chord, I can take this A flat here and do a crush note A flat to the A natural. Now, when I play this G7th chord, second inversion, I can actually take from the G flat to the G natural, or you can think of it like an F sharp, but G flat. And I'm not playing the second. I could do, that's very classical. Classical, when I'm playing Rachmaninoff, Chopin, when I'm playing a very classical piece, Mozart, and I have these different trills, yes, you would use the second finger to the third. It's a very classical way of playing. When you're doing this, you can't have that finger because you have to quickly come back to this finger hitting that. Okay, it gets into kind of the hammerings that had been created actually for country music. When you start talking about hammerings, where you're essentially playing the piano like you would a guitar, and that's what you're doing stylistically. You can't play jazz music like you would a classical. I'm a classically trained musician who kind of migrated over to the jazz world. I love both. But when I'm playing classical music, I have to play it like a classically trained music. When I'm playing jazz, I can't play jazz music like a classically trained musician. I can't do it because the sound doesn't sound authentic to the jazz music. So here I can start to play around. Now I'm doing a lot of these crush notes that you see. See that? Now, I'm still holding the 2-5-1, but what I'm doing is the 2 with some crush notes, and then I'm going to the 5 with a few. Now here, I'm playing the G7th chord, root first, second inversion, but I'm going to play F, F sharp or G flat, G, see that? So I'm playing F, F sharp, G, B, and then coming down. And I'm still playing the C major 7th. I'm just playing these notes. So you can start to play around. It's a fun way to start to play around, and then you can throw in your chromatic scales. Did you see what I did there? I went up playing that, but then when I came down, instead of doing the true chromatic scale, I actually did this. I played a note, essentially the pattern is you're skipping a third down, so I'm skipping a third coming down and then going up half a step and following that pattern. You can get some fun patterns. Now again, we're taking these seventh chords and doing different inversions of those seventh chords, okay? Not just staying with root position, we're doing root, first inversion, second inversion. I can start with root position. I can jump to first inversion. I can play second inversion. I can jump to the third inversion and go back up to root position. And I can practice doing the different inversions. I can go to, again, this is my 2, 5. This is already inverted. See, root position is down here. That's root. This is first inversion, second inversion, third inversion, back up to root position. And then C major seventh chord, root position, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion, back up to root position. I can practice just playing, and this is a good way to start off. Do the left hand walking bass pattern. Whole half half left hand walking bass pattern, and then with the right hand just practice doing the inversions. So we have 2, 5, 1. See, now I started off just playing quarter notes because remember the left hand is playing quarter notes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My left hand is playing quarter notes. My right hand, I was playing quarter notes to start off with. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion, and then I switched to the new chord. Root, and here you can do root position each time. That may be a good way to start. Just do root first, second, third each time. Or you could start at a different inversion and come back. So this is root position. I could start with first inversion and come down. I could start with second inversion. I mean, you could do whatever inversion you want, but it's practicing getting those inversions with the right hand while the left hand is playing the simple walking bass pattern of the whole step, half step, go to the 5, the A, half step, half step. I'll come down here. I have a little bit more room. And then you can start to do eighth notes. Now I'm swinging the eighth notes. I'm not doing 1 and 2 and 3. When I'm doing the quarter notes, it's straight 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm doing straight quarter notes. When we swing the eighth notes, then we can start to jazz it up a bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so here I started on the downbeat with the 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See, you can go up, you can go down, you can go in any direction you want. Now, the right hand, we're just doing the 2-5-1, simple 2-5-1 chord progression. My left hand, to start off with, we're following the whole half half just on 2, 5, 1. You could I could go up, I could go down, still following the whole half half. If I went up, I could play the 5 and continue going up. Or if I still want to follow the whole half half left hand walking bass pattern, I could still do a whole step, half step, half step, but instead of going up, I could go down. 2, whole step, half step, half step. 5, whole step, half step, half step. Going up or go down. I'm following the pattern of whole step, half step, but I could go up playing that pattern, or I could go down playing that pattern, see, the progression is still the same. That's going down. But then you can start to get other chords. For now, I'm just doing the simple 2-5-1. But if I want to start incorporating other chords, because my 2, in this case, it's a minor 7th, followed by the 5, which is a dominant 7th, and the 1, which is a major 7th. But I could start to do other variations. I could do instead of a minor 7th, I could do a dominant 7th. Instead of doing a dominant 7th with the 5, I could actually go through and incorporate that B flat to have a minor 7th. Depending on what the piece is calling for, if you want to go up or down, and again, see, now I'm adding additional colors with the chords I'm choosing. I don't want to get too advanced and too tricky, but I can change those chords instead of just doing a simple minor 7th, dominant 7th, major 7th. I could start to change the color of the chords. And we could start to even incorporate other chords. I was doing different inversions and voicings and variations, but you can get, this is where we can start to get 9th and 11th and 13th, and we get some really fun sounds. But this is just a great stepping off platform to help you start understanding how to better utilize the exercises within the book Essential Jazz Piano Exercises. Let me come back to the front here for a minute. Okay. We actually did not get a chance to look at this one, Essential Pop Piano Exercises. This is the latest book in the series as of right now. I'm working on the next 2 or 3 books in the series right now, so those will be coming out soon. But with this, I have all of these pop songs that I've created to help teach music theory using pop chord progressions. Now, the primary pop chord progression in here, we've already discussed and talked about. It's 1, 4, 5, 6 in any order. It could be 1, 6, 4, 5. It could be 6, 4, 1, 5. It could be 6, 5, 4, 1. It's those chords. In the case of C major, F major is the 4, then A minor is the 6th chord, and G major is the 5. Most pop music follows 1, 4, 5, 6, or 6, 4, 1, 5. Any of those progressions, they're using that. Now you can actually listen to my album, Effortless. The album Effortless, if you go and listen to it, you can hear how all of these, I've orchestrated almost all of these, and I came out with an album titled Effortless. But it's fun because you start seeing how the chords fit together. As an example, we'll end on this. We still have another 10 minutes left. We're going to end with Essential Pop Piano Exercises. I've played some of these for you before. I've shown some of these. What I'd like to do, let me quickly go over, let's see. I'm going to show you Renegade. We're here. Let's just quickly talk about Renegade. Okay, let me open this up and I'll show you what I mean. So from my album Effortless, and we have, okay, let me just get the video so you can see what I'm talking about as I'm explaining about the music videos. Okay, hold on. Let me open this right here. Okay, there we go. Oh, let's see. Final videos. Okay, hold on. Sorry. It's taking me a second to find out where I had this. So this Okay, I'm going to pause that right there just for a second. Let me come back in to this. So this is from my book, Essential Pop Piano Exercises. That was Renegade. That's from my album, Effortless. Now, this is what the piano music looks like right here. That's what you just heard. The chord progression that we were playing, we were following F major, A minor, G major, F major. In this one, it was really focusing on the 4, the 6, the 5. That's pretty much it. 3 chords, 4, 6, 5. Occasionally we throw in a C/G, but almost the entire, if you look at this first page, look at that. F major, A minor, G major, F major, A minor, G major. And then see what happens down here. You can see we're taking, and the left hand is primarily using a perfect fifth interval. I tried to keep it simple, and yet I wanted it to have this big sound where it sounded really fun and cool to play. Let me go to the overhead view, and I'll show you what I mean. So the chord progression, we're doing this. Okay, now this is just the first 2 pages from Renegade. Okay, if you look right here, I was just playing the first 2 pages. It's a fun piece to play When you buy, well, you can buy the paperback book on Amazon, and then you can just put a spiral binding on it like this, or you can buy the entire Essential Piano Exercises series on my website, musicmotivation.com. If you buy the PDF book on my website, it comes with the minus tracks. So you can play along with the other instruments, and the piano part's been removed. So you can actually play it. Now, I only have it at performance speed, so you do have to actually practice and get to the point where it's much faster. But look at what's happening here on the next 2 pages. Now we start doing a 1-5-8, 1-5-8, 1-5-8, kind of all the way throughout. We have a lot of slash chords. Remember how we talked about slash chords at the beginning? C/A, C/G, C/F. We're playing a C major chord, but my left hand is changing. Let me play the next 2 pages, pages 148 and 149. I'll just start at the top of the page here. Right here, we have a lot of this left hand. If you notice, my left hand was doing quite a bit of where the pinky is held down. And then we start having the pinky holding down for only half a note or a quarter note even, where we start doing a lot of syncopated jazz and blues, and pop especially has a lot of offbeat syncopation. So you really have to practice doing this offbeat, almost kind of a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you have to take it slower even. Now we have a lot of this, and again, it's tricky just because of what we're doing with the left hand. See, the left hand is really just doing this. Okay, the left hand is just moving in octaves, but it's tricky with the right hand trying to put it all together. If we go up high, we go down low. And again, it's about getting this timing, this counting as you're playing it. Okay, going up, going down. I don't want to play the whole thing. You can practice that on your own. And again, this is pages 148, 149. This is from my piece, Renegade. You can watch the music video on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Gerald Simon. You can actually listen to it on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Amazon, all the different streaming sites out there. Just type in Effortless, the album by Gerald Simon. Gerald spelled with a J, Gerald Simon. And then it's in this book, Essential Pop Piano Exercises. 1 original pop pieces that I've composed, and it's fun to play along with those pop pieces. But again, it's the music theory. All we are doing with this piece, we have 3 chords, sometimes a 4th chord. It's F major, A minor, and G major, and sometimes I throw in C major. That's it. I'm creating a fun melodic line, a fun melody with the right hand, but the chords are below it. If you notice and you're looking at it, most of the time, the right hand is playing the chords in various inversions like we talked about, either root, first, second inversion. If you have 3 notes in a chord, if you have 4 notes in a chord, it could be root, first, second, third inversion. But primarily, my right hand is just playing the basic triad, and then the left hand is just doing a lot of octave intervals on this page in particular. See that? We have octave interval, even right here, these are octave intervals, but they're just broken apart. Octave, 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 octave. Okay? It sounds more difficult than it really is. It's just about getting the time particular book as well. Jazz, blues, and pop, they have a lot of syncopation, a lot of offbeat extended rhythms. And it's fun to play, it's fun to listen to, but you do need to practice. Many times, if you're playing pop music, what is so interesting is that the rhythm almost becomes its own special effect, so to speak, because the rhythm actually can help in so many ways and it enhances the music. But the offbeat syncopations, when you're coming in, it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it creates this great sound. So play around with it, see what you can do. A fun time playing through these exercises. So it's really fun to have that offbeat syncopated sound, and it's fun to play. I mean, it really is fun to play that. Classical music, and I'm classically trained, classical music is very on the downbeat. Everything syncs up and it's on the downbeat. When you have that offbeat syncopation, it's really a cool feel and it's very effective. But when you play it, it takes some practice in the beginning, but it's really fun to create that offbeat syncopation. Love offbeat. Absolutely. I love it. It's great. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions, but this is going to be our lesson for today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Again, we were just focusing on the books from the Essential Piano Exercise series today, Essential Piano Exercises. Of course, we didn't get to essential new age piano exercises or 100 left-hand patterns. We were primarily focusing on essential jazz piano exercises, and then, of course, my essential pop piano exercise book. But let me know if you have any questions. I love coming out with these books and coming out with these albums because I love helping students understand the music theory. I want to essentially give you the cheat sheets so you can know how to play music of your own like this. You can start to arrange, improvise, create, compose music of your own. I had some piano teachers one time and even some professional musicians who were kind of upset with me. And they said, Gerald, do you realize what you are teaching? Do you realize that you're unlocking the secrets of music for these students? And you're just giving it to them, in your books or in your videos. You're just letting everyone understand what you do, and you're teaching them how to do it. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And it's intentional. I want the students to know what I'm doing. I'm not trying to keep this some music secret. I want everyone to know how they can start to make music of their own. I want you to know how to. I'm not keeping this for myself. People will say, I've even had students who have said, yeah, but I can start to compose music like you. I said, great. I mean, don't compose exactly what I've composed, make it your own, but you can take the rhythms, you can take the left hand patterns, create, compose, arrange. That's why I do this. I want you to succeed. That's really most helpful. Oh, thank you. And thank you for your generosity. You are welcome. Happy to do it. Hope you have a great week. Thanks so much. We'll have our lessons on Thursday for everyone who attends our weekly group online piano lessons. This is the lesson that we do for piano teachers on Mondays, but I'm excited to keep working with you. Mondays, we have our essential piano teachers, and then Thursdays, we have our essential piano students with theory therapy, innovative improvisation, creative composition, the 3 separate stages. We have the Apprentice Stage, Maestro Stage, and Virtuoso Stage. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much. See ya.